internet cats. They're pumping through my blood, my cuteness overlords. Yes, to food while I'm on YouTube and I'm glued to the screen watching compilation Cat Fails 16th time, replaying Cat vs. Box, the ultimate showdown clip.
I'm here talking with Meri Amber, our geek songstress. Tell me, how did you get into writing geek music?
Well, I tried to write normal music. It didn't really work out though.
What was your first song? What was the first song that you went, I need to do this?
My very first song was a song called I'm Not a Hypochondriac, and I thought it was very serious and deep and meaningful, but people laughed at it, so I guess, well, I went back to my cabin. It was at a camp and I was crying because they were laughing at me. I thought they were laughing at me, but apparently because they thought the song was funny. So, yeah.
And at what point in time did you explain to them, no, I'm actually feeling these things?
Well, I don't know whether I was feeling them. I was inspired by someone else to write that one, but
was
totally not me.
Was it aimed at someone else?
Maybe.
Okay. So what are the songs that you love writing? What are the topics that make you excited?
I like writing about things that inspire me, and I guess because I get inspired by things like Doctor Who, I write songs about them, but I also write things inspired by zombies, ninjas, robots taking over the world, just whatever. Just usually not normal songs like Baby, You Broke Up With Me, It Hurts, Ouch, or whatever. You know, the more...
So I would listen to a song that is called Baby, You Broke Up With Me, It Hurts, Ouch.
Oh, maybe I'll do that one for you.
Yeah. Would you? I'd really appreciate that. Now, you also have a song that's all about breakfast foods. Please explain why you wrote a song that was about breakfast foods.
I actually have a lot of songs about food. Like, as I said before, I write about what inspires me, and I find food's a very big inspiration, so...
What is your favorite food?
Like, there's pizza and ice cream. Cheesecake is the best. Oh my goodness, cheesecake.
Yeah. Have you written a song about cheesecake yet?
Yes, I have.
Good. How many?
It's called When the Cheesecake Was Whole. It was also inspired by Doctor Who. It's about what I would do if I could travel through time, which is basically go back, eat a cheesecake again, and then go back to a little bit before that point and eat that cheesecake again, and then just continuously eat the same cheesecake because I like cheesecake. And because I'd paradox time, and this would cause a lot of issues.
I was going to say, you're creating a terrible, terrible time paradox that would probably bring forth time cheesecake demons.
Yeah, there would be issues probably, but that's what I do. I'm not very responsible with time travel.
I'm here with Colin Donnell. Thank you so much for joining us at Supanova TV.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I want to ask you a little about the work that went into preparing for Arrow. Did you have to do any stunt training, anything like that?
I mean, I gotta be honest, there was one intention of where the character of Tommy was going to go at the very beginning of the series. It obviously, spoiler alert for those 10 people that haven't seen the show, it didn't go in that direction. But so I did a little bit of fight training at the very beginning with James Bamford, who was the stunt coordinator back then. He's moved on to now also handling that and doing some directing for the series now. So we did a bit at the beginning, but it just, since it never went in that direction, there was no real need to keep up with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just got to sit back and watch them do some amazing work up there.
Wonderful. Is there anything that you've done in the past, sort of a hobby or anything that you'd like to incorporate into a role in the future?
Oh, you know, I come from the world of musical theater, which has always been fun, but I've always tried to keep the television world and the singing thing separate. But there was one series that I did where they asked if I would be willing to sing on it, and I said as long as it's done the proper way, and we you know, not that I was probably going to say no at the end of the day, but but we did. It was the season 2 finale of a show called The Affair that was on Showtime, and it turned out really great. So, you know, I got into this whole business because I could juggle. So it'd be a random thing, I think, maybe to be walking through the hospital on Chicago Med and just picking up things and juggling with them. Maybe not scalpels, but...
Is there anything in particular that you're adept at juggling? Obviously, aside from juggling balls, a specialty?
I used to drive my mom just absolutely crazy because she would have apples in the house. And I would take 3 apples and I would juggle them, and I would practice eating the apples as I was juggling, which was totally fine, except for the fact that I would only eat maybe a quarter of an apple and then just throw it back. So,
okay.
Poor mom.
You ended up with a bowl full of half-eaten
Half-eaten apples. Yeah.
Okay. Now, why juggling?
There was a friend of mine when I was in elementary school that could juggle, and so he did it as like a show and tell, and I was fascinated by it, and so I would spend hours at home. I don't know, it's like looking back on it, it seems a little like obsessive and a little weird, but that was what I had to figure out how to do for myself. And little did I know that it was going to lead to, you know, being in theater and having a career as an actor. And
how did it lead from juggling to theater?
So when I got to high school, I broke my ankle while I was playing football, and my school was putting on a production of a musical called Barnum. And as in P.T. Barnum, Ringling Brothers Circus, and they needed people who could do circus tricks. And I could juggle, and since I was just sitting around the house, my mom sort of booted me out the door and said, go find something to do with your time.
Yep.
And I went, I juggled for the people. They said, do you sing? And I said, no. And the choir teacher said, please sing Happy Birthday for me. I sang Happy Birthday, and that's literally the beginning of the whole story going forward. I ended up going to school for musical theater, moved to New York, did some Broadway, and now here I am.
What was your favorite Broadway performance?
I've got a couple. I did a show called Anything Goes. It was Sutton Foster and Joel Grey, and it was amazing. And it's kind of funny working with John Barrowman, because John actually played the same role that I did in a previous revival of Anything Goes on Broadway. So we got to reminisce over our times doing the show. But there's that one, and there's also, I had an opportunity right after I got done with Arrow to go and do Shakespeare in the Park in New York City, which was a huge bucket list as an actor for myself. And we were doing a production of Love's Labour's Lost, a musicalized production of it. And it's where I ended up reconnecting with an old friend of mine who would then become my wife.
That's such a lovely story.
So yeah, when anybody asked why I had to get killed off of Arrow, I said it's so I could go and do Shakespeare in the Park and reconnect with the woman who would eventually become my partner for life.
Sombra and Symmetra, Carolina Ravassa and Anjali Bhimani.
Hi guys. What's your opinion on cosplayers when they cosplay your characters?
Love it. Oh my God, it's so amazing.
Yeah.
I can barely dress myself in the morning, and these people show up with like these amazing get-ups. And there was a girl in Houston, Hane Cosplay. I don't know her real name, but Hane Cosplay. You can look her up. And she did the full Devi Symmetra with the blue and the and like bam, and like she looked amazing. And then she did two sombras. The next she did sombra 2 days after. It's mind blowing.
I absolutely love it. I will retweet them all, and when dudes do sombra, even better. I love it. So yeah.
And we've seen a lot of dude mercies lately too.
Yeah.
They sort
Oh,
of look
it's
like
great.
stormtroopers with wings. It's awesome.